Obviously disappointed in the outcome of the game. It's disappointing to lose your home opener or the MAC opener here at home, especially when you got obviously a big game for our program right now for where we're at. We're playing against a team that's won the MAC West the last 6 years. So we were prepared. We were ready to go. Unfortunately, we just didn't get it done. Give credit to Northern Illinois. The credit goes to them. They came in here. They were the more physical team, and you have to give them credit for that. I'm not going to be stubborn and say they weren't. They executed better than we did on third down. We had some opportunities in the second half that, obviously anxious to see the film, but we had some opportunities and we just didn't get it done. So you give them credit, though. They won the football game, and the credit goes to them.
Mike, your defense had played pretty well in the first 4 games, but had some troubles today. A lot of chunk yards. They had 675 yards or whatever. You just talk about the difficulty you had with their offense.
Yeah, obviously we knew they had a two-headed monster at running back. The quarterback's a good runner as well. We knew that going into it, so it was going to be an important game for us from a tackling standpoint. So we had some missed tackles, which obviously the one run in the first half, the 75-yard run by the quarterback, was missed tackles. So we got to go back, look at the tape, communicate with our players, make the corrections, be real with them. But obviously that can't happen, or else you'll see the result the same way. So we have to get that fixed and make sure that's not something that shows up weekly.
Coach, they moved quarterbacks around quite a bit, but you said you did expect that you would be a good runner again.
Both the guys, all their guys really, even the guy that, the starter, Drew, to start the season, they're all good runners. But these two guys, in particular, we knew that they wanted to run the ball with them as much as possible, keep the ball in the hands of their two backs, and obviously get the ball to the receiver. So we knew that going into it. It wasn't like it was a secret, the formula. So obviously it was just a matter of us stepping up, being able to limit the big plays, be a good tackling team, and at the end of the day, if you just look back on it right now without watching the tape, those are things that showed up. They had some big plays, and we had some missed tackles.
Galladay obviously is a tough cover. Mark Walton was matched up with him for most of the day, but there he got the interception in the end zone. Then you have Sioux Stanley get the forced fumble on the next drive.
Correct.
So despite a tough day for the defense, they made a couple plays.
They did. Those guys competed. That's not the issue. They competed their tail off. Yes, that was not a great matchup. Just the kid's talented. Galladay's is an exceptional player for our conference. Big guy. Mark competed. All of our guys competed. But he just made some plays. When the opportunity presented itself, he went up and made some plays. So you got to give him the credit. And I don't want to take anything away from him. Obviously, we got to in those situations, we have to step up and make the play on our end. So we'll look at the tape, and we'll make sure that we drill it in practice and make our corrections.
Offensively, you made a lot of nice plays, but there seemed like there were a couple of throws that just missed. It seemed like you were that close.
We just weren't as sharp as we needed to be. We were inconsistent. Second half especially. We had some opportunities and we just didn't get it done. It's disappointing, but we got to look at the tape and again we'll get back out on the field and we'll make our corrections. But our guys have to know, man, these games are going to be a battle for 4 quarters. They're going to be a battle for 4 quarters, no matter what. So we have to. When the opportunity presents itself, we have to make the plays if we want to have an opportunity to win and get ourselves in the same type of position that Northern Illinois is.
How much did the early interception with Corey kind of on the big play, how much did that hurt your momentum?
Well, hey, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, I'm one of those guys that's an aggressive guy, so I love the call. Unfortunately, they got some pressure and the ball floated a little bit. Hey, sure, it would have been nice to have a score right there. Absolutely, that hurt us from a momentum standpoint. But just preach to the guys that we have to overcome it, and it's adversity. It presented itself, so we got to do a good job of overcoming it.
Coach, you mentioned you're aggressive. I think you had 4th and 7 with 4 minutes to go or whatever midfield, and you punted it, and it was a great punt. But you put the game back on your defensive shoulders again.
Well, mainly because in that situation we just got done pinning them deep the series before and did a good job of getting the ball back. So, hey, unfortunately we didn't move the ball. Disappointed in that. We need to move the ball, and the offense needs to step up to the plate and go down the field and score. We didn't get that done, but wanted to pin them deep because it puts them in a run situation. They're going to run it. So if we can hold them and get the ball back again at midfield with a fresh set of downs, that was my mindset.
James had a big day on offense,
just James is always ready to play, man. The look in James's eye, I talk about that a lot, I know, but James is just one of those guys that's hungry. He loves to have the ball in his hands, man, and he's one of those guys that no matter when you call his number, he's going to be ready to go. He's going to run hard. He's going to run through arm tackles. He's going to break tackles, and he's just one of those guys, and we just got to try to get the ball to him as much as possible.
Northern had 5 sacks, and they pressured Riley a lot during the day. They just beat you up front.
Well, until I get a chance to take a look at the tape, obviously we had one situation where we busted. They had a pressure, and it was a missed assignment on one of them. But I got to look at the other ones. I think there's a little bit that Riley held the ball too long. Should have worked through the progression, and ball should have been out. In those situations, you like to think every play that you call is good, but at times if a protection breaks down or the pocket breaks down, hey, a throwaway is a good thing. So we got to get, I got to do a better job of emphasizing that with him.
Stephen Bell and Corey Hall both got hurt in the game today. Both came back. Is there any update on their health?
No, I think Steve got hit in the nose, to my understanding, but he came back. His nose is going to look like mine one day, but he's going to be fine. And Corey came back after that, so both those guys finished the game. Haven't heard anything different on them as of now.
Coach, I think you'd only given up 4 or 5 sacks through 4 games coming into this one.
Yeah.
So how much of a difference was that with what you saw?
Well, listen, on the big thing, I give credit as much as it pains me to say this, and I hate to say it and admit it, but they were the more physical team. If you just talk about the battle in the trenches, they won the battle in the trenches. If you just look at the production in the rushing game for them, you look at the sacks that they were able to get on, they won the production, or they won the battle in the trenches, and that hurts me to say that. But listen, until I get a chance to see it on tape and find out what the breakdowns were, did we just simply get beat in a one-on-one matchup? But it's one of those, you got to give them credit. I don't want to take anything away from them. They came in here. They were an 0-4 football team. They had a fresh start. They knew that. They preached that. And they came in here and got a win.
Coach, with the up-tempo style that they were running, especially in the first half there, I know you talk a lot about
Yep.
conditioning on defense. Do you think that you guys got gassed at all?
I did. I felt like in the first half, I thought when they were going tempo, I thought our guys did not look as fresh as I had seen them. I thought we looked gassed. I made obviously I was disappointed in that. So, I got to look at that and find out why that was, because I certainly felt, looking out from my vantage point on the sideline, that tempo got us.
Does that lead to the missed tackles?
I don't want to, again, obviously when you're tired, does your technique get sloppy? Probably, but yet that's what we try to pride ourselves on here. We try to play and practice when we're tired, so that, when fundamentals need to be of utmost importance in situations like that we're very good that way, very good fundamentally, very good technique-wise. And obviously we had some missed tackles out there, and we can't tolerate that.
Are you happy with how many rotations you're getting in, as far as guys and getting reps?
Well, we got to play some guys. Simply, obviously, we got certain guys that are, they're playing their tail off. They could be banged up a little bit. Yes, we got some guys in a rotation, because when you get going in a game like that and you're playing that many snaps, you can't take every single snap. So we know going into it, we're going to play guys in a rotation. And I think guys are competing, but yet, again, we'll have to look at the tape and find out exactly why we had some of those missed tackles, and obviously we got to continue to emphasize conditioning.
Does the up-tempo make it hard to sub-play after? Like, is it more like you could just put a guy in for a series?
Well, if they don't sub at all, if they play up-tempo and they don't sub and they keep the same 11 guys on the field, it makes it challenging to sub on your end, because you're going to get caught in the middle of, hey, they're getting to the line of scrimmage, they're trying to snap the ball, and you could get caught, obviously, with a substitution and get 12 guys on the field. So that's the challenge, but yet at the same time, there's a balance. If we're close to our sideline, the ball's spotted on the hash near our sideline, then we can get somebody on and off a little bit quicker. So things like that, the game within the game, we got to take a look at that and make sure, our guys know that they could potentially be in at any given moment. So they do a good job of staying in and staying near their coaches that are substituting on the sideline. So, listen, they did a good job with that, so I'll give them credit. Thanks.